First, I would like to say, welcome home, Jeff. Nice to have you here again.
We're going to play it by honor.
We're going to play it by honor. Alrighty, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Scott. I'll be your host for the next few minutes before we welcome Angelica to the platform. So we've got the slides up here and going as we always start our service. And welcome to the people who are on Zoom, and welcome to anybody who's visiting us for the first time. We always start our service by honoring the native lands in which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. Okay, let's get our first slide up and going, and what we do here is you're going to see on the screen something that says we are. It says we are a welcoming community, or it will in a moment, and together the whole group will say the top half of the slide, and then you'll turn to somebody and say the sentence on the bottom, and you'll say it with love and intention, of course. So together we all say, we are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. And turn to somebody else and say, I honor the path that brought you here this morning. If we can put our weekly schedule up on the screen. You can take a quick look at everything that's going on at the center this week, including Burl's course that's been going forever, a Course in Miracles. We always forget to mention that, so I wanted to call that out, yeah. So Burl's course, we have a whole lot going on Tuesday. I'll talk about one of those in a moment. Our Sacred Healing Circle and all sorts of events here. We also do events on Zoom. But most of these are in person, as is this one. So let's talk a little bit about changing your thinking, changing your mind. Changing your life. I am really excited to be leading this class. It will be a discussion class. You will walk out of the class at the end of the 5 weeks with a better comprehension for what science of mind is, for how you can use it in your life. You will get to examine the creative process, learn to create spiritual mind treatments, help develop better relationships, explore your relationship with money, work on your relationship with health, and learn how to apply spiritual practices for improving relationships, prosperity, and health on a daily basis. That is directly out of the teacher's manual, so you know it's important. But I wanted to also point out, because we've been having a lot of people come to visit us for the first time and aren't necessarily familiar with what science of mind is. So I did a fun little thing this morning. I had Bard. If you're not familiar with Bard, it's Google's AI engine. And I said, in 200 words, describe science of mind. I was curious what it would come up with. So it took 400 words, which was weird. So it might be artificial intelligence, but the math, it's not one of its strong suits. But I cut it down, and I thought this would be a very fun thing to share. So this is what Bard says. This is what AI says. The science of mind is a spiritual and metaphysical philosophy founded by Ernest Holmes in 1926. It is based on the belief that the mind is the creative force in the universe and that we can use our minds to create our own reality. It draws on wisdom from many different traditions, including Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and New Thought. It teaches that we are all expressions of the infinite mind and that we have the power to create our own lives through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It is not a religion, but it does offer a spiritual path to enlightenment. It teaches that we can find true happiness and fulfillment by connecting with the infinite mind and living in alignment with its principles. Some of the key principles are all life is one. We are all interconnected and interdependent. We are all expressions of the infinite mind. We have the power to create our own lives through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Our thoughts create our reality. We can change our lives by changing our thoughts, hence the title of the class. We are loved and supported by the infinite mind, and we are never alone. And then the last few sentences are, it offers a variety of tools and practices to help us live in alignment with its principles. These include meditation, prayer, affirmations, and visualizations. It is a practical philosophy that can be applied to all aspects of our lives. It can help us improve our relationships, achieve our goals, and find true happiness and fulfillment. It is a powerful tool that can help us to create the lives that we want to live. It is a philosophy based on love, compassion, and understanding. I thought that was just perfect, absolutely. So if you're not familiar with what Science of Mind is and you'd like to know more, or you're already familiar with what Science of Mind is and you'd like to get together with a bunch of like-minded people, the classes are where you really get to know other people. It'll be Tuesdays from 10 to noon for every Tuesday in October. We are asking for $170 for the course. There's no required textbook, and regarding how much we're asking, if you don't have $170, but you got a lot of love in your heart and maybe a few bucks, come anyway. Please sign up on the sign-up sheet over by the lovely and talented James, because Angelica needs to print up the manuals for us, and it'll start Tuesday at 10. Okay, so we got that done. Speaking of other events taking place, there will be the Sacred Healing Service on Zoom with Karen. That will be on Wednesday. That's a monthly event. Next weekend, we will have a guest speaker. And she is, if I remember correctly, a Native American storyteller. There we go. And she'll be speaking next week. Let's see here. We are also want to make sure to point out we help sponsor the Redwood Pride Pancake Breakfast every month. This month, that will be October 14th, asking for a $20 donation. It supports our friends in the LGBTQIA+ community, as well as those of us who just happen to be allies. Crafternoon, Good Crafternoon, takes place October 20th. People just get together and have fun creating. Intention Fest, this is something new. So I will let Edward, are you willing to take about 30 seconds to describe this? Okay, because this is kind of Edward's baby. Yeah. Edward, who always dresses so shy in dark colors.
Well, all right. First of all, I want to put in a plug for Scott's class. I'm telling you, these classes are phenomenal. I've taken a lot of them, and man, they're eye-opening, and you learn a lot, and it's just fun. Intention Fest is something that Amy and I came up with. It's a celebration of wellness, because there are a lot of people who are going through things, mental, physical changes. A lot of people who have family members or loved ones that are going through things. This is a chance for us to just all get together and just know that everything is going to be fine. It's a chance for us to hold hands and play games. We're going to have games. We're going to have food. We're going to have music. It's just going to be a good time. And we're going to celebrate the healing energy that is inherent in everyone here and all of us. And we're going to send that out to the people who need it. So that's what it is.
Thank you, Edward.
And that's on the 21st.
That will be October 21st. That's a Saturday evening here at the center. The last week of the month, since there are 5 Sundays this month, Karen, who's not here today, I believe, she'll be speaking in lieu of Reverend Angelica on the 29th. And then Marvin, our tech guru god, in the back there, who's covered in wires and cameras, is going on vacation on November 12th. And we're waiting for a slide. This is really kind of uncomfortable to look at. I mean, I hope it's not as uncomfortable for you guys as it is for me, but if it is, I apologize. There we go. Anyway, if you would like to help out in our AV class, please see, who do we want to see? We want to see Marvin at the back of the sanctuary here to help him out on November 12th. And then yoga with Kathy Goodman, now in its new location. Kathy has now got her own studio. We're very excited for you, Kathy. So we have yoga with Kathy. And did you need to say anything about that, Kathy, about the new look?
Just that...
You want to come up here so people can hear it?
It's this one?
This one.
Okay, great. Iyengar Yoga uses props, and a lot of you have been to yoga classes and you've used straps and blocks and things like that. That came directly from my teacher. But he's got a whole bunch of other cool things, and you get to use gravity, leverage, and position to help open your body. And it really does make a difference. And it's easier in a lot of ways, but it also just opens you up sooner in ways that are not painful. They're on your own edge that's correct. So it's a lot of fun. And everybody in here can have a free intro to just see what it's like. So just see me or text me.
And you can see your text, your phone number.
Is my phone number up there? Yeah, it is. It's an easy to remember one, kind of, with all those zeros in it. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
And as we get down to the end here, a reminder that we do have a bookstore, and books by Ernest Holmes, the founder of the philosophy, are 20% off. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about the philosophy, or you'd like to brush up on your knowledge, save 20%. See, Ernest Holmes' Science of the Mind gives you additional prosperity by costing you 20% less. It all comes together in the end. Little pantry needs to be filled, whatever. It's how we help support our community. It's out front. If you have food that you can donate, non-perishable food, you can either just put it right in there, or Walk in Awe is usually here on Mondays. There she is in the back right now. And she will put, if you want to bring a bunch on Mondays. Before we introduce this theme, Angelica said she wanted to make a quick announcement.
Yep. Stay there, please. Stay here.
Oh, here.
Here. So as you know, we pick a member of the month every month. So our member of the month is Scott Marcus. And there should be a slide up there so that you can see what the...
Oh my God.
Wait, I have the...
That photograph, if it's going to be on the slide, I was speaking in Mississippi, and somebody said, "How silly can you be?" And this is the photograph you're going to commemorate me with, huh?
This one's yours. I didn't get the cover yet.
Okay.
That it goes in, but this one's yours.
Do you have the slide so I can
Yes.
humiliate
Isn't that great? So this is what, as you can see, you might not be able to read it very well, but it says, Scott is a man of many talents. He's a master graphics artist who has created our monthly theme, art, for a long time. He's a great student and is one of our new practitioners. I don't know, you guys have been practitioners
year
for a
now.
while now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess you're not new anymore. He's an excellent writer with weekly positive articles in our newspaper. He's also an excellent speaker and has quite a sense of humor. He developed one of our most popular holiday events, the Christmas decoration giveaway. And by the way, anybody who's getting the urge to go through their stuff, remember, we'll be having that decoration giveaway, so you can bring it here, the stuff you don't want.
It doesn't have to be Christmas.
Scott is an intensely caring person, well known as a great hugger, and more than one person has told us that when they came to our center for the first time, he made them feel really welcome. So Scott, we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
I do have a real, another announcement, however. Ever since Karen came to us and I discovered that she worked for Make-A-Wish, I've been bugging her. How can we help Make-A-Wish? How can we help Make-A-Wish? Well, I got a call from the volunteer chairperson who says that there is a young teenage man in, that sounds funny, teenage man. A late teenager, older teenager, who has some disabilities, etc., who his wish is to have his bedroom redone, which means that we need, I've talked to Doug about this because he's a contractor, and this is going to take a lot of work because, I don't know whether I should say this, but I guess I will. He has mental challenges and he tends to peel off the drywall and eat it. So I'm sure this wish is also his mother's wish. So we're thinking about if we get enough help, we will tell Make-A-Wish that we will participate, because what it's going to take is installing flooring and some paneling or some kind of wood on the walls so that he can't peel off the drywall. And I don't know about the ceiling, but at least the floor and the walls. And then I figured we could get him a new bedspread and, you know, all that kind of stuff to make a really nice new bedroom for a 19-year-old.
Do we know where he generally lives?
He lives in Fortuna. Yeah, we don't have that many wishes come up in our area. Most of the wishes, according to Daniel, the man that I was talking to, the children want to go to Disneyland. I'll take them. But, or Hawaii. I said, hey, anybody wants to go to Hawaii, I'll accompany them. I know Hawaii. But anyway, so if you want to, I forgot to bring a sign-up sheet. I forgot a bunch of things last night. If you want to participate, and, you know, carpentry doesn't just have to be men, which is what I immediately thought. And then I thought, no, don't do that. But talk to Doug, because Doug will be our point person as to whether we do this or not. All right? If we need to have enough people to help. That's what the big thing is. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to do one quick clarification. I'm really honored by this. I've been kind of the force behind the holiday decoration giveaway, but I want to give Randy credit, because Randy and I were talking several years ago, and Randy had this idea about wouldn't it be really nice if we did something where we could give away Christmas decorations, and from there the idea branched out. So I've kind of been the person who's been the spearhead of it. But Randy, thank you for that idea. It was a wonderful idea, and it is one of our favorite events that we do. And then just as long as I'm up here, just picture, that's the Mississippi River behind me. I was speaking at, real funny quick story, speaking at a community, it was in Louisiana, right across from, I forget the name of the city in Mississippi, and that's the bridge that connects the two. I think it's Natchez, Mississippi. And I brought a book to read when waiting to do my speaking, and I was sitting outside on a bench reading a John Grisham book, and he was describing Natchez, Mississippi, from the exact same view where I was reading this, because he said there's a white building, and then you can see this thing, and I'm looking going, oh my God, it was the strangest thing to be sitting there. He must have been sitting there when he wrote the book, so I just found that's... anyway, that's an aside. Okay.
Wait. We need a press moment here.
A prac moment?
Press.
Oh, press moment. Oh.
So, somebody's going to come up and... Oh, there's Marianne. I just asked.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Wait, here.
How about if we look there and then there?
Okay.
Got it.
You get to put your hand on it if you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's kind of a weird thing to hear from your minister. You can put your hand on it if you want.
Little set repair here.
All right. It said sense of humor. It said sense of humor right in there. Sense of humor doesn't mean they always land right. It just means you try. Okay, let's move on with our theme. The new theme for the month is Spiritual Rebels. When I created this theme, and I called my wife in and I said, what do you think of this? Now we're really building it up. There we go. I said, what do you think of this? She goes, I don't know what it means. And I said, I don't either, but I like it. So this became our theme for Spiritual Rebels. I really liked the image of the woman sitting, that I put sitting on the hill. So Spiritual Rebels is our theme for October. With that in mind, let us have Donna come up and lead the chant, and then Edward will do the contemplative, and away we go. Thank you.
3 things. Thank you, Kathy, for turning me on to this shirt. It says vote. Please do. You can get yours at Women Speak. We have a new chant this month. And when the slide came up for our speaker for next Sunday. That's Carol Larson. She's been a friend of mine for about 40 years. We played softball together. You will want to catch her presentation. She's really terrific. Our new chant, I'll go through it. We'll do it together 3 times. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great Spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, thank you.
Okay, Donna, Scott is going to see you after this. One thing Reverend Angelica forgot to mention about Scott is that we are fraternal twin brothers.
Many people mistake me for you on the street.
I know, same here. Can't tell you how many times they say, oh, you're the one that leads those groups. Yep. What motivated me, I've always been a part of this philosophy for, God, I can't think of how many years I was little, but I've discovered the organized philosophy back in 1988 and became a part of it in Oakland with Reverend Margaret Stoltz, and then later with Reverend Eloise Oliver, and finished my practitioner here, thank God. But what motivated me the most was, the oneness theme. I love the fact that finally a faith was saying that we're not these small things. We're not looking up to a man with a white beard and a long hair, and we're these little peons, that are always begging for stuff. That's not this philosophy. This philosophy tells us and lets us know that we are the energy. We are God energy. We are spirit. And we are all connected. And I love it when science finally says the same thing. Ernest Holmes went through all the different religions, Christianity, Hinduism, what have you, and he found that all of them had an underlying truth. And in this faith, we pull from that. So it doesn't matter what books you read. We don't tell you what books you have to read. The truth is the truth. And humans inherently recognize that. So I'm going to read a couple of little ditties here. Then what we do, we go into a silent meditation, and Jackson will sing us out of that. And we then welcome up our spiritual mentor. Okay, this is from a book called Create a World That Works. It's a book that the practitioners are currently reading in our session. The quantum nature of transformational presence is the name of the chapter. Yourself is actually the whole of mankind. That's the idea of implicate order, that everything is enfolded in everything. The entire past is enfolded in each one of us in a very subtle way. If you reach deeply into yourself, you're reaching into the very essence of mankind, or humankind. When you do this, you will be led into the generating depth of consciousness that is common to the whole of humankind, and that has the whole of humankind unfolded in it. The individual's ability to be sensitive to that becomes the key to the change of humankind. We are all connected. If this could be taught, and if people could understand it, we would have a very different consciousness. And that's by David Bohm, who's a physicist. So science is finally catching up with science of mind. What do these laws of quantum physics mean for us in a solid, objective world of space and time? How can they inform a next step in the evolution of personal presence? How can understanding them help us create a world that works? The more you play with these ideas and embrace the concept that the quantum level, things are not as they appear in the three-dimensional level, the more you are aware of multiple realities at once. There is the solid, object, three-dimensional reality that we might think of as the product or results reality. And there are quantum realities where everything is energetic potential, and that's important because it's stuff that we use as humans to create everything. In this quantum reality, nothing exists as form in a specific space and time until we choose to engage it and participate with it to create something new in the three-dimensional reality. So you could think of quantum reality as a potential creative reality, and the three-dimensional world as a fixed form reality.
The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. I want to love you more. I want to love you more. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you.
What I know is there is but one wonderful, great sentient energy, one loving field of consciousness from which all things spring. What I know is that we are an offshoot of that energy. We are connected to it, we are connected to each other through it, and we are it. Our capabilities are only that which we believe that we are capable of doing and that which we believe that we are not capable of doing. We can limit ourselves, or we can go forward and do the impossible. And the impossible is there for us. We are self-healing. We are a wonderful, wonderful three-dimensional product of the Spirit that is truly us. We are a spirit living a human existence at the moment, but spirit nonetheless. It doesn't matter whether we call that spirit quantum energy, or whether we call that spirit God, or whatever Jew, or whatever name that we choose. It is still nonetheless present, and it is the truth. I am so grateful for the recognition of this truth. I am so grateful for those who are my brothers and sisters, who have my back when I need to have that. I am so grateful to be able to be there for them as well. I am grateful for my position as practitioner of this church, along with the other practitioners here, to be of service to this community. I am grateful beyond belief and beyond measure. And as I release this treatment into the laws of the universe, I know that it cannot be denied. It is impossible because it is my will that it be accepted. And the law must respond to my will as a manifestation of God. And so it is.
The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. I want to serve you more. I want to serve you more. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you.
Now, with great pleasure, I would like to welcome to the podium our spiritual advisor, Reverend Angelica.
You know, I looked at the calendar today and I went, October already? It seemed to be, this year seems to be flying by. Are you okay? So this morning we're going to start out a month of investigating spiritual rebels. And I was asked, well, how do I define a spiritual rebel? And so this is what I came up with. Someone who stands up for what they believe in regardless of the norm or how they might be treated for it. Someone who has the courage to live what they believe in. Someone who impacts change in the world. And someone who finds ways to make their work serve a higher purpose. And you know, it was funny that Scott mentioned chat AI. or actually he mentioned Bard, but I used Chat AI and I put in, what is a spiritual rebel? And it came up with all these names. And I thought, wow, this is great. Part of my work is done for me. Well, the one that I picked for today, and we're going to look at spiritual rebels, or people I consider spiritual rebels, all this month, because it's good to pay attention to what's already happening in the world and who's been doing it, etc. And so the first one I picked was Desmond Tutu. In the news, it said, the world lost a moral compass when Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa died at age 90. The world lost a moral compass. Grounded in his Christian faith, his legacy as a peace builder through his anti-apartheid activism and promotion of peace and justice is unparalleled. Here are 4 attributes that Archbishop Tutu exemplified as a peacemaker, radically inspiring people around the world, not just in his country, but around the world. So the first one I looked at was leadership with honesty and integrity. Wouldn't that be nice? We do have that, but it's not even talked about. You know, the only thing that's talked about is the one that shall be not named that was not leading with honesty and integrity, and we're finding out more and more about that as time goes on. But what I know is that Desmond Tutu was an example of faith-based peace building. He was really, he used his platform all over the world to promote peace, to fight for social justice, and he advocated reconciliation and forgiveness constantly. As South African President Cyril Ramaphosa reflected, Tutu was a leader of principle and pragmatism who gave meaning to the biblical insight that faith without works is dead. You know, as we're moving through what we're moving through as a country, a while ago there was this conversation on the ministers' list that people were saying, you've got to get out there, you got to treat and move your feet, you got to treat and move your feet, basically is what they were saying. We got to get out there and be activists. And then there was the old guard that said, no, just all you need to do is treat. I have to tell you, I was one of the old guard. All you have to do is treat. All you have to do is believe. And yet I'm getting to realize more and more that I have to put my feet where my faith is, you might say. You know, I have to do what I can, when I can, where I can, to promote what I believe in. And the thing I believe in the most is that all there is spirit. And if you listen to Edward's little piece for the Contemplative, he brought it into the quantum field. And boy, I've been looking at the quantum field more and more, and it's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. As chairman of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission in the 1990s, Tutu sought to apply the principle of restorative justice in contrast to retributive justice. In other words, people were getting punished for what they had done instead of being taught how to live a different way. He also led the effort to ordain women in leadership in South Africa's Anglican Church, promoting gender-inclusive leadership. His leadership on gender inclusion did not stop with the church. He called for including religious women in dialogues in government and the anti-apartheid movement, and was an adamant supporter of LGBTQ+ rights. Now that was stepping out on the skinny branches in his country, but he did it anyway. So my second idea is being an advocate, locally, nationally, and internationally, as much as you can. Desmond Tutu used his platform to advocate against injustice beyond South Africa's borders, calling out human rights violations and actively advocating for rights for all, and nonviolent means by which to achieve them. In his 1984 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, he said, "Where there is injustice, invariably peace becomes a casualty." Yipes. He also said, "For a nation to heal and become a more humane place, we have to embrace our enemies as well as our friends." The same is true the world over. True, enduring peace between countries, within a community, within a family, requires real reconciliation between former enemies and even between loved ones who have struggled with one another. I told you last week I was reading this odd book called Eleanor Oliphant is Fine, or something like that. And I finished it yesterday. And I finished it with this sick kind of feeling, because it brought up so much of my childhood. And I thought, damn it, I've done all my forgiveness work on this. And yet, I'm really getting it. In fact, many therapists, etc., that I read about or listen to on the Reels on Facebook, if you haven't gone to the Reels on Facebook, don't. It's a deep dive, and you won't get out of them. I mean, oh my God, it's 8:30. Oh, let's see what's on the Reels. Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. Anyway. Trauma lives in our bodies. It lives in our emotions mostly, and then our emotions live in our bodies. And that idea that Desmond Tutu brings up about peace requires real reconciliation between former entities and even between loved ones who have struggled with one another is something that we can all pay attention to. I thought, until I read this book, that I was totally healed of my childhood trauma issues. And then when I finished reading this book and I just felt so weird, I realized something though, that the universe never gives us more than we can handle. So even though I keep saying, I've said at least 4 times, in my life, I've done my forgiveness work, it's over. I did it at that layer. And then there was another layer. And then there was another layer. And now here I am, so many years later, finding another layer. And having an understanding about it more. Realizing that perhaps trauma never goes away unless we can love, unless we can be a spiritual rebel and step out from where we were into where we want to be. My third one, de-escalation and healing. As a staunch advocate of nonviolence, Tutu courageously and notoriously stepped in, using his authority as a religious leader to prevent violent situations from escalating, including atrocities carried out in the name of apartheid. His vision and bravery were allied with a canny political sense and wisdom, enabling him to be a healer and an apostle of peace, while so many still saw wounds and war. Again, I can take that into my life. Now, you know, when I talk about taking things into my life, I know that I'm touching on parts of stories that you have as well. So it's not just like I think I'm so great or I should tell you my story, right? It's about all of us moving beyond that place and being an apostle of peace while so many still see wounds and war. His principles of forgiveness provided models for peace processes and reconciliation. He was a vocal supporter of the peace processes in Northern Ireland and Israel and in the Palestinian territories, for example, and raised awareness of other global issues, from the persecution of Rohingya to advocating for LGBTQ plus rights. Forgiveness. And guess what? Forgiveness has to keep being done over and over and over again. The fourth one, bridge building. A leader of the Anglican tradition, Tutu was a friend to many within and outside of his own denomination. Most famous, perhaps, was his friendship with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The two of them wrote a wonderful book about joy. If you haven't read it, it's really, really good. And he shared the stage many times with the Dalai Lama, and they laughed a lot. They both really enjoyed laughter. That was one of the things I noticed when I got to participate in a conference with the Dalai Lama, was that he loves to laugh. Sometimes he'd be speaking in Tibetan to his aide, and then they'd both start laughing, and I'd think, well, tell us, you know, what is he talking about? So he shared the stage with lots of people and promoted human rights and justice. At home in Cape Town, where he lived, he was also known to convene interfaith services with Muslim, Jews, and members of lots of other denominations, encouraging cohesion among people of all faiths. I think that when we allow ourselves to step out and be brave and do the inner work that we need to do and share it, that we're bridge building as well, that we're promoting the ideas of peace. So again, my definition of a spiritual rebel: someone who stands up for what they believe in, regardless of what the norm is or how they're treated for it. He was, in his later years, he was treated with great honor, but when he first started, he wasn't. People thought he was crazy. Someone who has the courage to live what they believe. Obviously, when you read his history, he definitely lived what he believed. He impacted change in the world. I mean, when you think about it, where he's working with peace in Northern Ireland and Israel and in the Palestinian territories, those weren't his countries, but he was busy there. He impacted change in the world, and he definitely found ways to make his work serve a higher purpose. His faith, the Christian Anglican tradition, was the most important thing in his life, his relationship with God. So I see Desmond Tutu was definitely a spiritual rebel, bravely stepping forward to create a lasting pathway for peace. He sought reconciliation when others wanted retribution. He sought healing when others wanted revenge. And I believe the world is a better place because of his leadership and example. His call for all to engage in the practice of peace is one that continues to inspire. He said during his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, "Let us work to be peacemakers, those given a wonderful share in our Lord's ministry of reconciliation. If we want peace, so we have been told, Let us work for justice. Let us beat our swords in the plowshares. So my invitation to you for this week is to allow yourself to see, where are you still carrying the sword? Where are you still wanting to be at war with someone or something in your life? And allow yourself to do whatever it is that you can do to forgive, to let yourself move beyond where you have been and love. When Jackson was singing the song before and after the Contemplative, he was singing to God. I want to love you more. I want to serve you more. And we're not talking about a God out there, at least I'm not. I'm talking about the God that's sitting in front of me. The God that I'm standing on and we're sitting in. God is absolutely everything. And I've been told I use the word God too much, but you know what? It's a short form for something that I can't define, that I can't even imagine, because it's infinite. Infinitely intelligent and unconditionally loving. And that's what I know we are, because in here is that God. So let's see our affirmation for this morning.
You are it.
It's coming. I know it's coming. Oh, I'm glad my top isn't as low as it seems like to me. I keep looking down going,
Look, we're having a baby.
wow, that's pretty.
It's a jelly bean.
Did we lose the connection again?
Somehow. Don't we know it?
Yay! Karen Blakely wrote the affirmations for this month, so let's say it together. Like a spiritual rebel, I speak my truth with power. I know that sweet spirit is always guiding, guarding, and directing everything I do. And let's go into prayer, or treatment, or whatever we want to call it. As I allow myself to contemplate this idea that all there is this amazing presence, this amazing energy that is infinitely intelligent and unconditionally loving. As I recognize that it is absolutely everywhere, including within me, that means that the power that I've given to it is also within me. And so I celebrate this power this morning as I speak this word for each one of us using the first person. I am willing and ready to experience being a spiritual rebel, regardless of what anyone might say. I know my truth is my truth, and I live by this truth as much as I possibly can. And this truth is about loving, being a loving person, allowing myself to be loved, loving absolutely everything in this universe, remembering that it's all spirit. This truth is that there is a law. There's many laws, but basically there's one law that says it is done unto me as I believe. So I choose right now to look around my life, because I can see what I believe out pictured there. I look around my life and I see, where is it and what is it that I want to change? This life is about change. It's about growth. It's about becoming more. So I know each one of us takes this journey as a spiritual rebel, ready and willing to acknowledge the divine in absolutely everything, regardless of what anyone might say, ready and willing to make a difference in my own life and in the lives of others. And I know that I do because there's really only one of us. One power, one heart, one mind, one life. And that is spirit. How grateful I am for this awareness, for this constant expansion of my consciousness. As Joel Goldsmith called it, a parenthesis in eternity. That's what our consciousness is. So I know we're expanding the boundaries of that parenthesis, allowing ourselves to know more, feel more, be more. And it is good, very good. It's all God. So with a grateful heart, I release these words into the law, knowing that they are so, and so it is.
And so it is.
This morning's gift of music is with Anna Hamilton. Yay, Anna!
Well, I was helping my friend transition to a nursing home in palliative care. And I called Angelica for a treatment, and she couldn't take my call. And later she said I was in a grief workshop, a grieving workshop, and I'm going, oh, the irony of it all, you know? And so I did want to say before I sing this song that it's kind of sad sounding. It was written in 1986 or 88 or something. And the person was young and she died in an accident. So it was particularly poignant. But some of this isn't the song that's current for me right now, and I don't want it to be taken that way. But one thing about the end of life and grieving is so much of it is our shame that we didn't do enough for the other person. Or, what if, oh God, I wish, blah, blah, blah. And that's the most pain I think you can have besides actually missing the person. And this will take a minute to tune, so. God is good, God is great, right? The Mohammedan prayer. Life is good, life is great. All right. And I spell God, G-A-W-D. God. I'm awed by God. I want to thank Donna and Brian for being my shoulder to lean on. It is a lot to just work all day on somebody's case and make sure everything's going right, and then not have kind of just get in the car and go home and turn on the TV. It just doesn't really work. So thank you, Donna and Brian. A little rain must fall on everyone. And when it rains hard, it can really come down. When it really comes down, it can wash away things that we love in a single day. Wash away, gone in a day. Gone with the rain, wash away. A little blow a friend away. And when friends blow away, they do not return. They leave only memories and the lessons that we learn. Memories, memories, only memories. Memories and the lessons that we learn. You live close to the wind. You call the rain your friend. You kept your door wide open and you let the weather in. And when the storm got too strong, it carried you along. You rode home on passion's wing, probably never felt a thing. Do you hear the songs your friends and lovers sing? Ooh, 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 Some tears must fall through everyone, everyone you loved, everyone you touched. And someday our tears will wash away the pain. I think I'll go outside and cry in the rain. Cry in the rain, cry in the rain. I think I'll go outside and cry in the rain. Who knows how long, who knows what for? Who knows what lies behind that open door? But everyone must go past the point of no return. We all go when we're ready, so get your lessons learned. Lessons learned, lessons learned. Love makes the world turn. You all go when we're ready, so get your lessons learned. Give me a second, I'll reconstruct. Thank you, brother. Cousin. Not cousin.
What?
Did you write that song, Anna?
I try to perform all original material for you guys.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. That's when that's what I said. It was written for a, you know, when you go in Albion, there was this great all-women's circle that I got to go to, and there was about 60 women, naked, on a full moon, singing all night long and taking peyote. And they never ran out of songs. I mean, it went on. And the fire, you know, the fire pit and the whole business. And the gal who passed away was the Kim Moonwater, who was the
Did you
one
want to speak in here?
was with the abalone and the sage and the feather, and she saged us all. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. By the way, speaking of passages and what have you. My birthday was this week, and Marianne and I went out to Bayfront, and we bumped into Rick St. Charles. And he was there with his family, and I don't think I'm violating any confidences because he was out in public. For those of you who don't know, Rick lost his wife this last week, I believe, and Monday night. And she was also an integral part of the formation of our center. But he was there with his son and a daughter and some grandkids and spouses or what have you. And granted, that's just a snapshot, but the joy that was coming from that table at least in that moment, and I assume beyond, was just a pleasure to behold. So I picked up healing, and I'm sure there's a long road to go, and Rick has several family members who are yet coming into town and may already be here. But it was really delightful. We got to take some pictures of their family for them, and then he took a picture of my wife and I for my birthday. So I figured Rick is an integral part of this family. I wanted to share that. So, already, I'm the guy who cries in front of people. That should be my name. All right, now let us move forward and share our gifts. We're going to have the plates go around. And please put in it whatever you can. If you cannot put anything monetary in it, you can sure put energy and love into it. And you can do that even if you add some cash or a check. So first of all, we will say together, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. And then if you would like to send a donation, that will show up on the screen. And so if you'll start the music, we will get this going. I know that there is only one energy, one divine force that is through everything, is everything, and creates everything, and that these donations that are being made to the center today are part of that. As they go forward and they ripple positive energy and good into our community and beyond that, we are so grateful for all of these donations, knowing that they are creating a better world for all. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that they are already happening, and together with joy and exuberance we say, and so it is. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do the community statement of inclusion in a minute, but I also wanted to point out, Edward, could you just come up here for a second? I saw this while you were doing your contemplative, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this, and I don't know if it was planned. Was that? Oh, do they just look alike here? Thank you. That's my brother. Yeah, but for me, the flowers would have to be more like white roses or something. All right, as a reminder, this is the first Sunday of the month. And so we would like to celebrate all the birthdays. There will also be food in the other room for anybody who would like to partake. It's our Sunday potluck. If you didn't bring anything, no problem. Please stay and join us. But if you're having a birthday in October and you're able to, would you mind standing so we can all wish you, sing for you happy birthday? One, we've got two. So we have Olivia and my wife Maria, and Jackson is over here. So let us sing an off-key version of Happy Birthday, please. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackson, Marianne, and Olivia. Also, as a reminder, at the end of every service, even if we forget to mention it, the practitioners are available to support you. We call them 5-minute miracles, and we would love to, if you would like to talk, if you have something you're working through, we'll meet with you confidentially. Our practitioners are myself, Edward, Les, I saw sitting around here somewhere, Susan. Oh, there she is, over at the High Watch. Susan, Claudia, I believe, are you still seeing people? If somebody comes up to you? Okay, she says she could. And Michelle in the back of the room, and I think that's it. So please approach us if you need some help, and we'll find some few minutes for you. And finally, demonstrations. What we would like is a demonstration is a manifestation of something that you have created. It can be from a parking space to $1 million. We prefer the $1 million because then you can buy your own parking lot. But that aside,
Say something before we close.
okay. Olivia, would you like to come forward? So we have room for 2 or 3 quick demonstrations.
Should I take my mask off?
Of course, go right ahead. One of our newest members, incidentally.
So there's been like a porch cat that comes around for several years. I didn't know who it belonged to in the neighborhood. And then one day, this was last week, it happened recently, he went missing for a few days, and I had a bad feeling. I was like, this is not good. He's usually here like every day. He came back, and his tail was like lifeless. There was no, it was just hanging off of his butt, basically. Oh. Yeah. And so I didn't know whose cat it was all these years. Took him to the vet. The vet was like, oh, we don't have an availability for like 2 more months. But we can put you on the cancellation list. And I was like, okay, do that. What am I gonna do with this cat for like 2 months that's injured? And they called me back like the next minute, and they were like, oh, somebody just canceled so we can see you. And I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. And so now he's a bobtail cat. They snipped off his tail. He's just fine. They said that if he could not pee, then they'd probably have to put him down, because that's like a really like expensive like problem, I guess. But luckily he can still pee. So yeah. Yeah. But
Thank God for small favors.
yeah. I found who the cat belongs to. It was my neighbor this whole time, so luckily it wasn't that bad. But yeah, he's fine now. He's just a bobtail cat now.
Thank you for supporting our animal community. Any other demonstrations? Yes, Kathy, please come forward.
It's a different kind of one, in a way. But it just speaks to me. I was talking to Shelley, and I don't know if she's here today. And I was talking to her when we were in the class together, the Science of Mind class, and we were talking a little bit about politics, and I said, oh, there's some really good people to listen to other than the standard stuff. And I told her about Politics Girl, and she went ahead and listened to that speaker, and then I saw her last week or the week before last, and she said, Kathy, here's what I did with that. And she said, I thought about the political situation and where I want to put my own energy in it. And she said, a lot of my friends want to donate to causes that would matter, but they just don't know where to put it, and they need some force connecting with really good places to place their own energy. So she made herself that person. And I just was so thrilled to hear about it. It was just made my heart go, what was that? Oh, but anyway, that's okay. And I just thought I'd say it because it's just such a wonderful thing. And she's got all these friends that wanted to donate some money somewhere, but they didn't know where. And she's handling that for them. She said, just give it to me. So it was cool. I was really happy about that.
Which one could also say is a demonstration of prosperity for Shelley. Yeah, Edward. Okay, real quick, and then we're going to get to our community statement of inclusion.
Okay, real quick.
Unless, Anna, you had something that, Anna, did you need to, well, let Edward finish his.
Oh, okay.
I'll understand, I'm behind you all the
Hey,
way.
I matched the flower, come on. Real quickly, my wife and I, we just came back from San Francisco, and last time we were there, we found this really beautiful music store, and they had this guitar that I just was salivating for. And so when we went back this time, I had every intentions of going to that store and buying it, but we couldn't find it. So the store is somewhere out there. But so anyway, we came back to the Bay Area and found out that there's a brand new indoor mall or indoor flea market, if you wish, on 4th Street between, here in Eureka. It's on 4th Street between C and D. And they have like a lot of vintage stuff. They have a lot of handcrafted stuff. And it's just beautiful. And my wife, as we were getting ready to leave, said, Ed, you got to come check this out. So I walked into the room, and here was a brand new Fender guitar, acoustic, and it came with the case, which was a brand new, probably $200 or $300 case. And they sold me the whole thing for $299. Yeah. So I got my guitar.
That marketplace is called the Mercantile.
The Mercantile, that's it.
Okay, you're going to close us up.
A lot of people are in there, so support it. I forgot to mention, if you go out to the community bulletin board by the door, there's a small piece of paper. It has my gigs on it. There's a yellow Post-it for my gig at Saturday Arts Alive here in town at Redwood Arts Association.
Thank you. Okay. Finally, we have got, who would like to read our community statement of inclusion? It sums up pretty much what we stand for. Lori, that is you. So it'll be on the screen. We will all read it together. The last line is bold. Lori will read it, and the last line is bolded, which we will all read together.
Thank you, Scott.
And then Donna will come up and lead the song.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. And boy, that's been happening. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remain learners and listeners so we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you, Lori. Well, I have this opportunity. There are 3 important events happening in our community this week. The first one is the local annual Stand Down. That is a place where veterans, active or former military personnel, it's at Ferndale Fairgrounds. It's a 3-day event. You can stay on campus there, be fed, get haircut, get veterinary care. If you know any veterans that are in need of some assistance with their benefits and that, send them to Ferndale Fairgrounds Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Number 2, the Medieval Festival of Courage is taking place in Blue Lake. That is fascinating. They have live jousting with live horses and live wannabe knights. That's Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I'm sorry. The third one, most importantly, Redwood Coast Music Festival begins this Thursday, this week, and I will shamelessly, as with Anna has taught me so well, the group that I sing with is Vintage New Orleans Jazz, and it's a free Thursday night event from 7 to 10 at the Red Lion Inn. I invite you all to come there. And we have a new song. Thank you.
Wait just 1 minute.
1 minute.
Council members, I need to see you real quickly when we're finished.
This is called the New Age Vision, and it's going to sound an awful lot like Glory Hallelujah. So here we go. Jackson. La 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 da 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 da. We are not an organized religion. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Lost to be when from every limitation shall Son of Man be free. For the age is rich in promise and